everyone, and today I'll be talking about the EU and Southern Europe. Since the pandemic, do you miss traveling? If you do, we happily invite you on a little virtual tour of Southern Europe and also learn a little bit more about the EU. First, I'll be talking about our whole routine. I'll be talking about the EU and its historical background. Clement will be talking about the physical features of Southern Europe, whilst Louisa will be talking about the cultural part. You've heard the word EU in the news, right? So what is it? And what does it do? So I'm going to figure it all out for you. This picture of the 12 shiny stars and the color blue represent the EU. The stars meaning completeness and the color blue meaning peace. Europe and the EU. What is the difference? So Europe is a continent that's in this northern hemisphere and is based on the Greek myth. The Greek myth of Europa and Zeus. While the EU, or the European Union as its full name, is a political and economical union. Who are the members of the EU? This year is 2022. We have 27 members. Yeah, I know, you're counting. There are 28. But in 2020, the UK left the EU, Brexit. And the two main leaders of the EU are France and Germany. What is the purpose of the EU? The EU was started for one purpose: peace. As you can see in the EU's motto and anthem, it all reflects the meaning of peace. The EU's motto is United in Diversity. And also, the EU's anthem is the famous Ode to Joy by Beethoven. And its lyrics are written by a German writer. The values of the EU. The values of the EU are freedom, respect for human rights, equality, democracy, and rule of law. Before seeing the news, I have always taken these values for granted. But after seeing the news of Afghanistan and Myanmar, you might find that these values are actually harder to be true than it takes. Before the EU, there are lots of predecessors that wanted to make peace. It all started after World War II, 1945. 6 countries, Italy, France, Germany, Belgium, Luxembourg, and Netherlands, figured out if they worked together, they could help avoid future wars. So in 1952, they established the ECSC, or the European Coal and Steel Community. At that time, coal and steel were vital for rebuilding countries. And in 1957, they made the Euratom, making nuclear energy, and the ECC, for the European Economic Community, which eliminated taxes. And in 1967, these three all merged to form together the EC, or the European Communities. More and more countries joined until it evolved to what we know as the EU. So in 1993, the EU was first established with the Treaty of Maastricht. And in 1995, the Schengen Agreement was made effective. The Schengen Agreement deleted any of the borders so people could move freely. In 2002, the euro, or the EU's official currency, was introduced. In 2002, the EU was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. What are the benefits of the EU? Free movements of goods, services, and education, meaning that you learn everywhere in the EU. More jobs and higher wages for people, more stable and growing economy, and more efficient financial markets. The main institutions of the EU are the European Parliament, the European Commission, the European Council, and the Council of the European Union. The European Parliament is part of the citizens' views, the European Commission of they think of as the European views, and the national government's views, the councils. The European Council and the Council of the European Union are both in the building, the Europa Council. Wait, you just heard me say the European Council and the Council of the European Union. I know, right? You're confused. So, why do we have two councils and what do they do? So the European Council is sort of the head of the EU, and it sets the EU's political agenda, which means it focuses on the political part of the EU. Whilst the Council of the European Union are the ministers of the national governments, and they negotiate and vote on legislations. So the European Council focuses on its political parts, and the European Union focuses on the lawmaking part. How does the EU work? The EU works by the three main institutions working and cooperating together. So the Commission, it proposes laws and the EU budget. It puts policies into action. It proposes laws and the EU budget to the Council of the European Union, which makes decisions, and also to the European Parliament. Together, they work together to negotiate and adopt the budget of the EU. So this is how they work in the EU decision-making institution. After I've talked about serious stuff, it's time to relax a bit for the fun facts. The euro has unique coins. The first one of the euro is the official side. It is fixed. But what's beside it is a unique side depending on the countries. For example, two more interesting ones. Austria has the famous composer Mozart and also a signature, while Italy has the Virtual Man by Leonardo da Vinci. Europe is also the second largest economy close to China and is the largest foreign investor to Taiwan, 25%. That is actually a quarter of all our foreign investments. And then October 2021, the European Parliament overwhelmingly voted for upgrading relations with Taiwan. All I can say is that I'm really happy that the European Parliament has taken such a formal act to support us. Thank you. And next will be Clement, who will be talking about the physical features of Southern Europe.
Okay, thank you, Peach. And next, I'll be focusing on the physical features in Southern Europe. This is Southern Europe. You can see that it has countries of Spain, Italy, and Greece. Southern Europe has the climate of the Mediterranean climate. But what is the Mediterranean climate? We know there's the Mediterranean Sea, and the Mediterranean climate is basically dry and hot summers, cold and mild winters. The temperatures is between 30 to 65 degrees Celsius, and it has a good weather, which is sunny mostly. And also, the precipitation is abundant, that it rains a lot. Southern Europe has mainly three types of landforms, including peninsulas, mountains, and islands. I think you may heard of mountains and islands, but what is a peninsula actually? A peninsula is a piece of land that is almost covered by water. And there's just one tiny part that is connected to land, like the picture below. Southern Europe has mainly three peninsulas connected to the Mediterranean Sea, including the Iberian Peninsula, the Italian Peninsula, and also the Belgian Peninsula. These three peninsulas are connected to the three continents of Europe, Africa, and Asia. They build land bridges with Europe and Asia, and also it's the important route to the Mediterranean Sea. So the geographical location is very, very important. Next, I'll be introducing these three peninsulas one by one. Firstly, the Iberian Peninsula. It divides Spain and Portugal, which is right in the middle of Spain and Portugal. Also, it is the largest peninsula. It is the second largest peninsula. And next is the Italian Peninsula. As its name, it is right in the center of Italy. and it is shaped like a boot. That is a fun fact that the only active volcano, Vesuvius, is in the Italian peninsula. Last is the Belgian Peninsula. It has a lot of geographical and historical features, which most of the areas are covered by mountain ranges. After the peninsulas, what about mountain ranges? Firstly, the Alps Mountain. It is the highest mountain range in the whole Southern Europe, which is across 8 countries, including France, Italy, Germany, Austria, and so on that I can even continue. The Swiss Alps cheese and chocolate is only available in the Alps Mountain. And then is the Pyrenees Mountain. It divides Spain and France, which is bordered with the Iberian Peninsula in Spain. And the last is the Alpine Mountain, which goes across the Italian peninsula and also forms the major part of Italy, which the Alpine Mountain is a volcanic and earthquake prone, which include the Mount Vesuvius and Mount Etna. Next, I'll be focusing on islands. Firstly, the island of Sicily. It is the largest island in Italy, and it is right in the center of the Mediterranean Sea. You can see that Italy is like a boot, which is kicking the football of Sicily. And next is the island of Sardinia, and it is the second largest island in Italy. It is located in the west of the Italian peninsula, which is right upper than the football of Sicily. And then, water features, rivers. Southern Europe has a lot of rivers to talk about, but today I'll be just mentioning these 3. Firstly, the Po River. It is the longest river in the whole Southern Europe, and also it is located in northern Italy. It starts from the Alps Mountain and flows eastward to the Adriatic Sea. Next is the Guadalquivir River. This is the only great navigable river in Spain. After the Guadalquivir River, the Haliakman River is also large. It is the longest river flowing in entirely Greece. Next, water features seas. Firstly, the Mediterranean Sea, also known as the largest water body. It is connected to the Atlantic Ocean in the west and Black Sea to the east. It is almost covered by land, which the Suez Canal, opened in the 19th century, is an important route connecting the Mediterranean Sea to the Red Sea. Next is the Aegean Sea, which is located between Balkans and Anatolia. And also the Aegean Sea is known as the territorial sea of Greece. The third is the Adriatic Sea, which separates the Italian peninsula from the Balkans. Next, I will end my part by the population patterns. Southern Europe has a population of 150 million people. You can see all these red dots are the population density in Southern Europe. And this is a fun fact that Southern Europe has more population than the Northern Europe. It is because of the cold weather in the Northern Europe, which is freezing, and also the resources available in Southern Europe, including medical resources and also social welfare. After the physical features, what about the cultures of Southern Europe? Let's welcome Luisa to talk about the cultures.
So I'm going to talk about 3 countries in Southern Europe, which are Greece, Italy, and Spain. The first country is Greece. Greeks were pioneers that shaped the modern world, including art, architecture, literature, and math. And also, the first Olympic Games were competed at Olympia. It began as a part of a religious festival honoring the Greek god Zeus. This is Santorini. It is a famous attraction in southern Greece, and it's because of Santorini's landform and seascape. Santorini is near the Aegean Sea, and have you ever wondered why all those buildings were white? It's because it's very hot here, so they painted it white so it will be cooler. Next are the Greek alphabets. Do you know what language they speak? It's Greek, right? This language is the oldest language spoken in Southern Europe today, and this language can also date back to the 9th and 8th century BC. And look at the picture. You can see names like Delta and Omicron. And you think the COVID-19 variants also have these names too. And have you ever wondered why? It's because the WHO announced they named the COVID-19 variants after the Greek alphabets just last year. This is the Parthenon. The Parthenon was originally a temple built for the goddess Athena. A Greek sculptor, Phidias, made a 12-meter crystalline fountain statue of Athena for the Parthenon. Unfortunately, the statue was destroyed in war in 1687, and now the Parthenon is used as an archaeological site, and it is where the people will visit most in Greece. Here are the Greek cuisines. Looking at those pictures, are they making you hungry? When I finish this speech, maybe you can go to some Greek restaurants in Taiwan. And I'm going to introduce some famous dishes like papazakia. It is eggplant stuffed with like cheese, meat, and vegetables. And gyros, they usually put meat, vegetables, or cheese into it, but some people actually put French fries. The last one is stifado. It is their beef stew. Yeah. The second country is Italy. Italy was home to many well-known and influential European cultures, including the Etruscans, the Greeks, and the Romans. Also, the Renaissance started from Florence in Italy and spread it to other parts of Europe. The Renaissance was a period of history between the 14th to the 17th century. Renaissance means rebirth in French, and some of the famous artists were like Leonardo da Vinci. He was an artist, a scientist, a sculptor. He painted the Mona Lisa, also the Last Supper, and knew more about the inside body by dissecting it. These are the Italian cuisines. The first one is pasta. They all eat pasta, but they still serve pasta in different ways. Like in the south, they have pasta with tomato sauce, and in the north, they have pasta with creamy sauce. And some other dishes like gelato from Florence. Gelato is like ice cream, but with lower fat. The last one is like pizza from Naples. The last country is Spain. Spain is a beautiful country with stone castles, snow-capped mountains, and charming cities. Here is the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. This is a church, and the construction began in 1882. And Anthony Gaudi was appointed director in 1884. But this is not finished yet, and 2026 is estimated at its completion date. Some of the Spanish artists were like Pablo Picasso and Salvador Dali. Salvador Dali was a memorable figure in the surrealistic movement. His paintings were like the possessions of memory and the ship with butterfly sails. Spanish cuisines are famous around the world. Here are some most famous dishes like paella, including yellow rice and seafood, and patatas bravas, which are fried potatoes with some tomato sauce on it. The last one is croquette, which are meatballs, confito, and deep fried. So I'm going to end my presentation in Spanish traditions. The first one is the flamenco. It is a music tradition in the south, and including dancing, guitar playing, finger snapping, and all those other musics. The second one are the tomato festival. It is the largest tomato festival in the world. Do you know 2 of our teachers from Jungle Lion, Manuel and Alex, they actually come from Spain. So I wonder, have they ever thrown tomatoes at somebody else? The last one are bullfights, the most controversial of Spanish traditions, but now this sport is dwindling. Our presentation is finished. I hope you learned a lot from us about the EU, the geography, and the cultures of Southern Europe.